Well, ni hao, everybody. Uh, we are in here. We are working. The Alliance tried to stop us for a second, but our good buddy Mr. Universe was able to give it to him in the old Cortex, and now we are where we need to be. So as long as you can hear me, and as long as we can continue to boost this here signal that was given to us by none other than Mr. Universe, we will be able to tell you these tales of this glorious big damn verse. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brown coats of all ages, we are here on a Friday afternoon. We are here on a Friday evening. We are here on a Friday morning, wherever your time zones or planet side local time happens to be, because we are going to tell a tale. A tale that needn't be understood from past episodes, but can be experienced in this singular event you are about to see in front of you. As we delve into another adventure of the crew of the Firefly Courtesan. This Firefly is like many others flying in the big damn verse, as there are 50,000 of them registered, and many more unregistered in the Alliance documents. But this particular Firefly, the Courtesan, is very special. It itself cannot be followed, it cannot be tracked on the Cortex, but what makes the Courtesan truly special, what sets it apart from all other ships flying in the inky black, is the crew that houses and commands it. This crew is learning, and this crew is something that needs to, well, they need to experience everything this big damn verse has to deal with. But before we can tell a story that begins in the now, in the verse, we need to go back to understand how these crew members came to be. And we go back now, several years ago, to one Dr. Rutherford, as we see exactly what the good doctor was up to before joining the crew of the Courtesan. And so, doctor, as you go into the hotel, or as you go into the hospital room, there is an older woman, maybe late 50s. She is very emaciated, very sick, her eyes gaunt. She appears to have some form of illness that is progressing, whether it be cancer or some disease of the some disease that is now racking her body. And here you are, her doctor, and as soon as you walk in, she turns and her eyes lift higher than they have in weeks as they experience hope. Doctor, can you help me?
Shush. Of course. I'm stroking her hair. Of course I can. Just save your breath. You're extremely weak. It's all going to be alright. Don't worry.
Thank you. And she reaches up, and as your hand strokes her hair, she reaches up and her hand touches your blue gloved hand and taps it and says, "Thank you so much, doctor. I thought
Of course.
And as the days progress and we see suns rise and fall on this hospital room, as we see a deterioration in this condition, and when next the camera peels into this hospital room, we see now that the woman looks no better, but she has an unesthetic eye implant that is pulling one of the sides of the left of the ocular cavity open, revealing additional tech and circuitry inside. The orb, the biological orb itself, seems completely lax, as if the muscles that had controlled it were no longer working, and it lolls listlessly, not in conjunction with the other orb. It just drifts the pupil north and south, east and west. But again, the eyes turn as the door opens, and again, the one that is allowed to rises in hope. Doctor, what do the tests say? Is it working?
It's inconclusive. I'm not sure. There are varying results that are conflicting. You seem to be getting better in some parts, but deteriorating in others. It's best we continue on, I'm afraid. But I'm hopeful. Always hopeful.
Should we contact my family? Just in case.
Of course. Why don't you tell me what it is you wish, and I can get one of my assistants to do it for you. And if they're able, they can come and visit you if they wish.
We don't have much, but I think they'll come to see me off, if that's what happens.
Of course, of course. I'll get a piece of paper. You should rest now. We'll be doing another few more tests to see results shortly. But I put my patients first. We're in good hands.
She lays her head back on the pillow, and the eye that's still under her control closes. The other remains open, bobbing listlessly north and south, east and west. Again, we see the rise and fall of suns against the horizons east and west, and as these sunrises and sunsets become days and weeks, we again go back into the hospital room, and the woman is there, the right side of her hair shaved, completely bald, with a long 5-6 inch puckered scar, and from the scar bleeds a gathering of wires that go and attach to some exodermal implant that is crude and whirring right above her right ear as it woo, woo, woo. And again, as the door opens, her eye, incredibly weak, turns and sees the doctor. Doctor?
Oh, yes.
What's going on?
Well, we've had to take some extreme measures. We put you on a machine that should be helping with the extra fluid buildup and swelling. That headache you probably feel is the machine working. But stay calm and stay lucid as much as you can. It's not working. I don't know why it's not working properly. I don't know the evaluations or the calculations.
My family. Did you come? My family? Are they here?
No, I still haven't heard back, I'm afraid. I don't know what's going on. I've sent my assistant at least sent 2 more messages. I've sent them all that you requested. They just haven't come. Are you sure you're close with them? I know it's a hard topic, and speaking of such things can send patients over the edge, but are you sure?
We're very close. We're with God very close. It's at this point, Doctor, that you hear a sound of a gunshot out in the hallway, and several subsequent shots, some screaming, and you hear a pounding at the outside of the door. Mother! Mother, we're coming! And you see that the door itself is someone shooting the handle of the door on the outside.
My word.
Joshua! I'm coming, Mom! And the door flies open, and you see 2 very burly, very broad rim farmers as they come in, each bearing a resemblance to the woman in the bed, at least what she looked like before, as they burst in, each of them brandishing, one of them a long shotgun, the other a pistol, and as he turns to point the pistol at the doctor.
What's going on here? This is a house of medicine. Put down those weapons. What are you doing?
You let our mother go. Oh my God, Travis, look what he done to her. I'm gonna kill you. And he starts to raise the gun.
Oh, I don't think so. And I click my pen.
And with the click of the instrument, 2 additional extensions come out of either side. And while the camera that we are watching through picks up none of this, it seems to have an immediate effect on both Joshua, Travis, and his mother. As they all stop, the gun drifts lower, and He reaches up and touches his nose as blood begins to pour from both his nose, his eyes, and his ears. And as he goes to scream, the blood that's bubbling from his throat against his vocal cords allow nothing more than a as he looks. The extent on the mother is quick, as she was close anyway. And as her one eye bleeds and her ears bleed, the machine on the top of her head continues to... And the two farm boys drop to the ground, following their weapons as their blood pools beneath them. The room is yours, Doctor.
I walk over to the bed and I get the report folder that's there. I get an actual pen and I start writing. Failure to assimilate with external implants. Body was probably too old. Probably need a more vigorous subject. Farm folks seem to be boisterous. Perhaps put down an viral infection, maybe. Maybe something in the water. Thoughts later. And maybe I'll have lobster for dinner. Yes, lobster, some wine. Oh, there is that matinee I wanted to see. Oh, well. And I put the photo under my arm, straighten my gloves in my hands, my blue gloves, and walk out the room and close the door. Oh, I need a cleaner as well. It's another facility I have to burn down, I guess.
And with that statement...
Take my love, take my life, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Take me out to the black, tell them I ain't coming back. Burn the land, boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me. There's no place I can be since I've found serenity, and you can't take the sky from me.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back and ni hao to the Big Damn Verse as we get ourselves acclimated to the past. But then is then and now is now as we sink back in to the present day. And before we do that, while we were deep into the throes of the maniacal doctor, I did see that something came in from a bad boy. And bad boy, what is it that you would like to accomplish with that mighty contribution? As you have, the floor is yours, and to the point where we may even be having a visit from the bad boy, if he would like. If not, I can certainly make things very, very nasty.
I would love that. I could kill Grant.
He was over here just yesterday.
A big bad boy, bad guy. Oh god.
And that, my friend, is something that we will talk about after the episode ends, as we can all just sit back, rub our hands together, and think of the possibilities. But one thing I can tell you is this, is that if you think there are such things as bad guys and good girls and bad people and good people here in this big damn verse, I'm here to tell you, look at your protagonists, friends. If you've been following us, this boat ain't necessarily filled with saints. And it ain't not just be sinners either, but we shall see. Anywho, as we get back into the task at hand, the crew is still aboard the crew is still at the Eaves Down docks, parked. The Courtesan is secure. It's been days since they returned from the Bella Star, where they met Three Gun Lee and had themselves a bit of an adventure there. But in addition to all of that, it's taken time for Bai's hip to heal a bit. He's getting around. Everything seems fine. No permanent damage, according to the doctor, and the doctor knows best. And as you guys are all going around, any other wounds that you had have healed in this nice period and span of time, I will let you know that good old Badger's been hard at work. And Badger has told you the following via numerous Cortex messages as he struggles to please one Lo Zhao Li, or at least remove his name from any potential list she may possess. What you guys have found out is this. Someone will be coming to collect the cube that you have taken from the Bella Rose. In addition to that, he has also procured another contract for you, as despite the violence that ensued on the Bella Rose at the time of the cube's capture, no one saw you take the cube, and the violence was pressed off as being madmen that the crew of the Courtesan was able to subdue. You were touted as heroes aboard the paddle wheel boat, VIPs if you will, and the remaining 2 days aboard ship were spent with the highest of honors. And so Badger... Yes, go right ahead.
Would we be able to go back for that sweet, sexy-ass hover thing that he had shackled to the vat that we cut loose? Can we go back and get that?
Wasn't it invisible? Good luck.
They will not turn the boat around, and on the return trip, there is no...
Damn it.
The hover sled is nowhere to be seen. By the time you guys would have actually had a chance to turn it around, it would have been like an hour behind you, if it had stayed where it was. In addition to that, Badger being very satisfied, and the client that is hiring Badger being very satisfied, word got out. The crew of the Courtesan gets things done. And so Badger has presented you with a very prestigious, or at least as he says it, a very prestigious booking. And this job entails the passage of a VIP. The catch is this: the VIP will be coming to your boat alone, and the VIP will need to meet with the doctor and decide whether or not the Courtesan is for them. And so when this person arrives, you are to treat them with the utmost in hospitality or dismiss them, as the contract must be agreed upon by both sides. And finally, Badger has been dutifully trying to find anything he can on a little boat called the Dauntless. He came up with something. It appears that the pilot of the Dauntless grew up right here in Evestown. And it seems that while the pilot's mother is deceased, his father is elderly and living in an allied group care facility near the junkyard. Apparently the man is in a bad way, but his name is William Chung. Apparently his son's name is Tony, and he currently pilots the Dauntless.
Is there any way we could send Dad like some flowers that say "Get well soon, love the Courtesan"? Just kind of like a low key threat to back off, or we'll kill your entire family. I don't think Harry would do that though.
I think.
If anything, it would be a fruit basket.
Oh, thank you, Lojali. You were much more.
Yeah.
I think what would be
some dumplings
would be to send them a doctor, just to make sure that he's being properly looked after.
No. I'm not sure you're including Bai in this conversation, because Bai would be strongly against going after someone's family.
Yeah.
We're not that type of people.
Yeah, no, but Felix would suggest that we let them know that we know where he is, or we could specifically, if he's in a bad way, they'd need to go check in on him Could we get someone to stake the place out?
Could we maybe send in a doctor to go and check on him and make sure that
No.
he's all right?
We
No.
could, but
Not- None of that. We're doing none of it.
I agree with Bai. I'm wholly against using someone's family as leverage. It's deplorable.
Eric, remember last week when
Absolutely.
you deliberately got yourself shot? Yeah, your opinion isn't so important to me right now, you bastard.
You
I have not-
you got me
I have
shot.
not forgiven you.
Back to the place.
This is not okay. This is not. We have
I
yet to have
imagine-
that conversation.
This is
am-
Goshen. You know it, husband.
I imagine being in the
Felix.
you two this week is terrible.
Oh yeah, it's fucking
It's
real
fucking
bad.
terrible.
It's tense. I would think it's a little tense. There's some tension.
What we could do is, if we didn't want to do the whole seedy family leverage thing, is that I could actually go and see this family member and actually see if I can actually help him. Maybe that could give us an appointment at the table.
You
So
know,
we're not
that's
actually threatening, but we're actually aiding.
that's actually a brilliant idea.
You have to convince me that you have to promise me that you're going to do that with a good part of your heart, right?
I just
Like
say to
you're
you, when have I ever done anything wrong?
He is the good doctor for a reason, honey. He goes to help people. That's what his job is to help people. He'd be violating his oath of helping people.
Hippocratic
Yeah.
oath. Yes.
Everyone knows
Do
That's-
no harm.
Doc, everyone knows medics have your oath that do no harm, but I saw what you did with that chair and that kneecap.
Well, I know how to defend myself, of course, but I don't
And-
think
Swear to me.
He also
Swear to me that we're better than what's being said on this ship. If you're gonna go there, you're gonna
I-
actually have to treat them. You're gonna actually have to be nice.
Of course, I swear to you, Bai, that when I get there and if I'm able to treat him, then I'll treat him in the best way I know possible.
Can I do something to or to bind you to do this? I really I
Like
can I
a
give
blood
you-
pact? I mean,
can
is this like a...
Can I like I need
literally just think,
I
you
need
to
you-
pierce him?
all right.
He's gonna activate.
Then
Star
I'm gonna
Magic.
hold, I know, that's fine. I'm gonna hold out my hand and and be like, promise.
I promise you, Bai, I will treat this man to the best ways I know possible.
You shake my hand? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right.
Well, now that we're all in agreement, why don't we make sure that this ship is in tip-top condition for Badger's little friend?
Yes.
What was the name of the gentleman again? Or woman? Or child? Or VIP?
You were told that a VIP would be coming and that they would
Yeah,
mention that they were friends of Badger and that would be the way that you would know
Dear
them.
God.
Kind of VIP are we dealing with?
It's okay. Last
Yeah.
time we took a job like this, nothing went wrong at all.
Right.
Also, remember that what was said was they had to meet with the doctor. That was the one.
Stipulation of the contract.
Hmm.
Be that as it may, we need to get this place in ship shape.
Are we going to run into Greg? Are we going to run into any problems if the doctor goes sees the dad and is not going to be here? Like, are we within the expectation, like the expected time of the VIP? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you know
Like, is our
that
itinerary a problem?
right now you know that at any moment this VIP person could arrive. You also know that at any moment this person to pick up the cube could arrive. Also, as far as is in the narrative, the only person that activated and saw the cube's contents was Lo Zhao Li. Also, the only person to see that Manuel Sandoval was actually an allied federal marshal or allied marshal was Lo Zhao Li. Whether or not she's given that information to the rest of the crew, I need to know right now.
I think she would definitely show them the cube's contents. But I don't know if she'd mention that he was an allied marshal.
His
Totally up
body
to
went
you.
overboard, didn't it?
Bai's not very good at lying.
Yeah, he went overboard.
Yeah.
So what you guys are all witness to is when this 2x2 cube goes off, it creates a very localized hollow emitter that sweeps you back to this area that looks, or at least purported to be, Andersonville Prison. Whereas in there you also see these skeletal men who are lining up as if in military formation, and then you see a reporter as the reporter is saying that these men were reported killed in action. These are actual prisoners of war. They are browncoats and independents. And then the screen goes black. And it was time stamped as of 2 weeks ago. A little bit more now that you guys got off the Bella Rose.
That's interesting.
Disturbing.
Doctor,
Yes.
you're a man of science and human anatomy. There's, well, warping of the flesh, and do you have any idea what kind of end game they could be trying to achieve?
Who? The prisoners or the captives?
Whoever was holding them.
I mean, what I could see, it seems that they were just left. They can't be that free because then everyone would know. And I'm guessing maybe all the information that they had has been given up. So they've probably just been left there to be forgotten about.
What do you think they were trying to achieve with the prisoners?
I don't know, I'm not a military man. I wasn't in the war.
But did you see anything with regards to how they've been experimented on? You can think of any thing they could be trying to achieve, make them stronger, faster, more obedient.
They looked emaciated, right? Like they haven't been fed and
They just looked ill-kept.
Yeah, I tell you what I'll allow, since you guys can play this over and over again. It's not like a one-shot thing.
Yeah.
Doctor, I will allow you to take a look at it, and if you want to roll a mental and we're going to pick one skill here. You pick the one skill that you'd like to apply to this.
most likely focus with keen mind because I'm like intently looking and like scanning this thing out.
Okay, so that would be give me a D10, a D8, and a D6, and your base has already been pre-rolled at a 9.
Okay.
Wasn't Andersonville Prison the one that Grace threatened me to be like, oh, you're going to be an escaped person? Okay. And also, did we have that pad she was holding? I thought it was mentioned to me, my internet was wonky that day, that she dropped it and we picked it up.
Yes, the pad that was given, everything that she had, she kind of abandoned as she ran and jumped out the window and escaped. Doc, as you have beaten this by 4, I believe. Let me see. 2, 3. Yeah, you beat it by 4. You're able to figure out the following as you look. You kind of go over it, and as it's a hollow projector, you can actually walk closer to the prisoners and actually gain that perspective of being closer to them, as very similar to the way the operative was able to kind of walk through the scene with River and Simon Tam during the escape from the Blue Sun facility. You're able to kind of get different vantage points. And after about 20, 30 minutes of just observing the men that are identified as the prisoners, you can't see anything has been done to them other than superficial wounds. It looks like there's been, beating, bruising, things like that. A couple of the men are holding older wounds, like arms that have been broken, but they have just not set properly, and they're kind of crooked and angled. A lot of similar things with their digits. The fingers themselves are cracked and broken at like the middle knuckle and growing, they just set incorrectly. A lot of that type of like previous torture abuse, but you don't see anything more now than just severe malnutrition, signs of dehydration. It's just, vitamin deficiency. A lot of the men, while having long beards and long hair, they have patches of it that are out. They have skin conditions. They just look like they've been completely unkept.
Yeah, and I relay this, and I just kind of say, it's how I said. It seems like they've just been left. They probably haven't killed them with the just in case policy. You never know, in case one of them might be holding out or give information.
These men. I understand how ridiculous what I'm about to say sounds, but they look like they're dead.
I didn't get any of that. Could I see any of them breathing when the hollow thing was going?
Yeah, absolutely. You're able to, I mean, you can't touch wrists or touch for a pulse or anything like that, but you can see as they talk, as the air comes out, you can see their mustache move. You can see, as they're kind of just like in the process of moving and engaging, you can see heartbeats through their paper thin flesh because, you can actually see pulses. You can't feel them, but they look alive. They look like they're the Walking Dead, but they're living. Yes.
Did they communicate at all? Did any of them speak?
Yeah, you can't hear it real well, but they're saying things as if they're going through military formations, like the Allied or the independent equivalent to, like about face, present, everything as they just kind of stand and are going through the military regiment. And it seems that they're trying to keep some semblance of their former selves. A psychologist among you, Bai would be able to look at this, and Lo Zhao Li might be able to look at this and glean a little bit more of their kind of like their mental, their psychological. If you guys want to do that, if you guys want to really devote time to it, where are you doing this? Are you doing this like
somewhere?
Yeah, my room probably.
Yeah, in the back maybe.
Okay, yeah, so this is not in the cargo bay.
And I would have had Elizabeth wait in the cargo bay and inform us if we have any visitors.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out with Elizabeth here because that sounds like a horrifying experience that Bai does not want to deal with. That seems like Bai is too empathetic and would lose it, so definitely not.
Yeah, Jolly would try to get at least a brief mental reading on them, kind of see what their attitude is while the doctor's running around doing medical. I don't understand medical, but
I will allow you to I'm going to allow you to roll a social here. If you roll a social, it also has to be a social and a notice. If you roll a mental, it can be a mental and anything else you want. But social and notice, you're looking for social cues, and you're looking for how they're carrying and delivering themselves to see what you could get. We'll go with the same pre-roll of a 9 on this one too.
Okay. How about mental and focus?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So we'll do a... Oh.
They lunge at you.
Fine.
Okay, so as you're looking at those two, you still have your mental roll to do, right? Do you have your mental?
No, I did the mental. That was the 6.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a D8 and a D6.
So as you're looking, you're not able to glean anything more from this, but what you do, and whoever else is in the room realizes that this time when you kind of turn and play back you're kind of rewinding and watching and rewinding and stopping and watching and rewinding and watching. When you take it all the way to the beginning, as the LED readout kind of reverses the track and the arc of the wave as it's coming through, you see the entire screen pulse a little soft white light.
Greg, I just whispered something to you.
That sounds good.
When we're watching this, besides the prison guards and anything in there, I'd like to see if I can notice any people of another authority, another military regiment. Is it just the prison that is doing this, or is there someone that's secretly bought the prison and doing all these horrible things?
The thing is, you can't see anything that doesn't look like there's any guards that are in the area where you could identify a uniform or perhaps, use a Cortex to kind of map somebody's face. It looks like it's just the prisoners, and it looks like whenever the camera or the Cortex link turns, you get to see the woman, the reporter who is there. You don't know any identifier of her. Other than that, that's all you get.
Well, I'm sure that somebody's missing this mighty fiercely.
At this point, a couple hours have gone by, and Elizabeth would come running into the room. Elizabeth would have shot off at the first sound of this, but you hear a gong, gong, gong on the personnel door of the Courtesan.
Oh, that must be our guess. And it's just me here, right, with Elizabeth?
Yeah, Elizabeth would, at your go ahead, we'll run off and get the others.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So roll on, Elizabeth, get them, and I'll go talk to our guests. Yeah. And so I'm going to say just a minute, and I'm gonna get ready to quickly make sure I look good and little make sure my hair is good and my bun's tight. And the metal reflection of it, of the ship, and okay, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Okay. Boom. Yeah. Thank you, Felix. And yeah.
Okay, we're gonna say that as soon as the primping's done, by this time you guys are all, whoever's coming to the cargo bay is you're just entering.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
so
love
you guys
that.
Are kind of you guys are kind of in the back, just as the last of the eyebrows are taken as you see Bai turn, and Bai opens up the door, allowing both the breeze of the eaves down docks and the following individual to walk in. As you see almost a shot from a camera from the ground, as it peels up, you see a duffel bag gets dropped to the ground. It's a worn military issue duffel bag, and it just launches and lands on the grating of the Courtesan's cargo bay. And as your eyes go from that bag up, they see these snakeskin boots. And despite the incredible expense that has to go into this type of thing, by God, you think they're real. And as it goes up from the snakeskin boots, you see leather pants, black and tight and shiny in all the wrong places. They leave nothing to the imagination or potential religious affiliations of the man wearing them. And as it continues to go up past the shine and the suction, you see a belt buckle the size of a pugilist belt. And it would look ridiculous on anybody else in the verse. But somehow, this sumbitch wearing it pulls it off. And then above that, the man is naked. But he is not uncovered. As from the waist up, every square inch of him is covered in the artist's artistry of the tattoo. Everything, colors and bleeds and blacks and whites, war and love, light and dark, everything is the yin and yang of the man known as Bugger Jones. And across the muscles of his stomach, it reads very prominently, "Mr. Universe is my master now." And as it continues to go up, casually held in his right hand, a heavily modified Cortex jock deck, displaying among other things a 3-letter identifier, VBC. And then beyond that, the only other thing he is wearing is a grin and a light scarf, the scarf of an early aviator or an orchestral conductor. And then the tattoos are walled off as a jet black beard continues up the man's face, split with the white brilliance of a smile. And he looks around, runs his tattooed fingers through a mass of spiky black hair. And he looks at each one and goes, "My, oh my, this is turning out to be one hell of a morning." And his eyes go around and he goes, "Now," as he points, "which one of you is the captain?"
I'm the captain of this here Courtesan. Welcome aboard my boat.
and his finger rests right on Harriet. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Does he actually lay his finger upon Harriet?
No, he's standing. He's just pointing.
Like,
He's
oh
just
my God,
pointing right
step
at her.
out of the room. Like, fuck that.
He's just pointing right at her.
Oh, we're gonna have a hoot and a holler now, aren't we, honey?
That's right. I'm here to look over an item that you all procured aboard a riverboat of some kind.
God, he's not. I thought he was a VIP. We had to transport. I'm like, no.
No.
I resist glancing over to Miss Lao Zhaoli, who I'm assuming has the cube.
Oh, I wouldn't have taken it just in case it was the other guest. She'll say, it is right this way. We didn't keep it in the open just in case of prying eyes.
Oh, that's fine. And he grabs his jock deck and begins to stride forward. And as he moves, it's only until his boots hit the ground a little bit that you realize the son of a bitch is wearing spurs. As you hear the clink, clink, clink as he's walking.
This guy's my hero.
Harriet's really confused right now. She's not sure if she's attracted to him or if she hates his guts. He's so ostentatious, but he's a cowboy, so it's what's my mind.
Can I look at his tattoos?
I also want to see if I can notice.
Like as he's approaching.
Gang signs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There is numerous signs that anybody with any type of gang knowledge would understand as high level affiliation. But it seems to be, and they're so prominent that there's no role required here. This man is a living subway wall. And as you walk forward, you see that they are from conflicting or opposing gangs. As you see, the triads, the red shirts, the blue hat, all these different clubs, motorcycle gangs just ripple across this guy's paper-thin flesh as he walks in. But the one that is prominently displayed is the one on his stomach that says, "Mr. Universe is my master now." And as he walks, he knows what they look like and kind of angles to give everybody the best glimpses of shoulder blade and back of his neck as he was walking through. And they show off everything. Anybody with any military experience would also see both Allied and independent serial numbers tattooed on opposing arms, as it looks like each tricep carries an ident of a soldier in the Allied forces and a soldier in the independent forces.
Mighty fine tattoos you have there.
Oh, these little things. Thank you.
Do I
get some whiskey?
Do I get the idea that these are trophy tattoos? Like he got like, I killed these people and now these are my trophies? Or would these be alternate identities? Like this is my, like, I was in this, I was in this, I was in that, that.
I tell you what, this is going to require a roll. So
Yes.
I will roll against this. You need to roll me. This is definitely social and whatever skill you can come up with. And you may have
Can I
something.
also participate in that?
Yep, absolutely. And we are going to roll. Okay, so that's an 11 for Bugger.
Okay.
And you're able to roll against that to glean what you need.
I could use my authority notice for this, perhaps?
It depends. If you can actually use your ability as the captain, should she fail, you've got something that you can do, can't you?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. You go first there, lady.
Okay.
Don't
So I
fail.
can use social. No.
Okay.
And either my first or second distinction and my first signature asset.
Yes.
Okay. So, social, no. Distinction and signature asset. Oh, baby. That'll be an 18, please and thank you.
Alrighty, with an 18, as I didn't have it on the right thing.
Tell me
yeah.
all about his tattoos.
Okay, here's what you were able to glean from this. And
Yes.
this is something that we're going to allow Harriet to also understand at the same time.
Okay.
Because of her interest in this, but she was holding back because of her captain privileges. So you also get this. You were waiting, Harriet. So you kind of figure out most of this as well.
Oh, I watch her where her eyes are going, because his back is to
Right.
us, so I can watch her watching. It's like see where her eyes are going, and kind of like, oh, I see what you're getting at.
Right. So it looks like as
I know
you're
nothing
looking,
about tattoos.
when you are looking at this, it looks like these are all legit.
Okay.
These are all earned. And as you're looking at them, none of them appear to be trophies of any kind.
Okay.
They are held in positions not of prominence, but of space. As if he's added
so you
to
can
them.
show this one, or
Correct.
you can hide the others and you can show that one to the right people?
Correct. It looks like each of them, now that you're able to look, it's if he lifted up his shirt a certain way, he could show a certain affiliation without revealing anything else. There is a lot of crawl and bleed between the tattoos that's nothing more than artwork. Yeah, so he has a definite, distinct area for each thing.
Okay.
The Laurel Indian me wants to take a selfie or a snap of him real quick to be like, I got information on you, but I don't think that's gonna work. I go and get whiskey for all of us.
I will let you know this too, but with that social role, you realize that he didn't walk covered up through Eve's Down. He walked with his shirt complete, his skin to bare. So
Do
whether or
I
not
recognize anything more specific about his tattoo?
let's see,
I did roll an 18.
You got a big damn hero die
Yeah.
out of that too. So what ends up happening here is
So I was
that
looking very specifically.
yeah, you're able to figure out the following.
Huh.
In that, if you were reading this correctly, this wall or Rosetta Stone of gang affiliation, the last one and the area of prominence on this top of this man's chest seems to identify him as a capo or a lieutenant for one Adelaide Niska.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay. Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
Can I was typing something in chat. Can you say that again? I heard something.
Yeah, you heard the bad word, the bad name.
Yeah, it seems that the area of prominence, if it can be gleaned from this look, which, Lo Jiao Li is very tuned in to this particular type of display. Lo Jiao Li is able to decide that the area of prominence, which would indicate maybe current affiliation, is registering this man known as Bugger Jones as a capo or a lieutenant for one Adelaide Niska.
Oh, this is.
And I just guide him back to where the cube is.
All right. And as soon as do you touch him as you're going, or lead him, or how do you tell me how you take Bugger back into the ship?
I lead him. I don't touch him.
You don't touch him? Okay. You're going to feel a long tattooed arm drape around your shoulders as the one that is holding his Cortex jock deck is kind of flapping on your shoulder. He's a very tall man, about 6'6", 6'7", as he's just kind of lanky and walking. Now tell me about this place. Well, I haven't been on a Firefly in forever. Look at all this. Kind of makes me want to get back out in the black,
It's quite comfortable here. It's a fast ship, very maneuverable. I find the living quarters to be accommodating enough.
Miss
Crew's
Lowe,
competent.
Miss Lowe, I thought you had higher standards than this.
Well, typically yes, but there are times when one wishes to remain a bit low, if you will.
Oh, I like low. I like high. I really like high.
I can tell. I'm gonna just like do the tattoo once over, be like, oh, I can tell.
Yeah.
Can I appear with the whiskey at this point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Drinks,
So
anyone?
this is just Bugger, Lo Jiao Li, and Harriet that are in this current area. Has anybody come with them? Okay.
I'm going to step by the door that he came through and just check outside and make sure he came alone.
Right. Because this is a very formal agreement and nice, I probably would have brought out some hors d'oeuvres in the form of some nice dumplings.
Oh, of course you would.
So I would be really interested in how our new guest takes to the meal.
He's
I'm not gonna hype him up or anything like that. I'll let other people do the talking. I let my food do the talking for me.
Oh, as he walks by, then he would reach down and, with his bare hands,
Yeah, exactly.
pull a dumpling off the tray and plop it whole into his mouth. God damn, this is good.
The cooking is very good here.
If you
It
try
makes
to
up
take
for other
that from me,
things.
we're gonna have to fight. He's very precious to us here. He's
I
really
can
what makes the
see.
boat fly.
He's
Oh,
making me fly.
Harriet, please, you flatter me.
I grab a dumpling. That's
He would
intended
look-
for our guests.
Bugger would look over at Bai and goes, "You should be flattered and often for this. Wow, this is delicious, fantastic, delectable, and the dumplings aren't half bad either."
I turn bright cherry red.
I look around for Felix immediately and see if he's anywhere within eyeshot. Or like,
Felix would not be. Felix is keeping an eye outside the boat just to check if this guy walked up on his own.
I'm sure your husband would appreciate one of those dumplings as well, sweetie.
Oh,
As you are his little dumpling.
please.
Oh, I apologize. I was getting too forward, perhaps. Speaking
No,
about
not at all.
forward, let me take
Harriet's
a look at
just
that
thinking
cube.
after like the 2 weeks or however long it was after the fucking boat and the shooting and all of the fucking shit she's had to listen to from these two, the last thing she needs is like a newfound live triangle. And no, he's married. Like, leave him alone. You not want to
Yeah,
go
but-
through this shit again.
But what is? Yeah, but there's some loopholes in marriage, isn't there? As I'm like dreamily staring at his face.
Yeah, Jolly's kind of going.
Just being, there's some loopholes, right?
I look from Bai to Lao Zhali. I don't know that, and I'm like, well, guess I'm not as well versed in marriage as I thought I was. Dumpling.
quite well-versed.
He reaches down, plops another dumpling off the tray, puts it in his mouth, winks, and heads back and follows Lo Jiao Li into the bowels of the Courtesan to get his cube on.
Yeah. I'll just make some small talk and put a little emphasis on like, yes, just trying to lay low. Huh, pun.
You picked a good ship for it. It's hard to find this bad boy.
A little bit. You could say it's perfect for taking care of personal business.
Yeah, agreed, I guess. Why don't you show me this cube and I'll make sure everything is copacetic and let you know what we're doing from here on out.
Shook. And then I just slide the door open behind me.
Do I get the feeling he's gonna kill us all after he gets the cube?
You can roll a social if you want.
I will.
I'll let you roll a social and a whatever skill you tell me. And oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well we're gonna stop it right there since yeah, it was an 11 that he had before anyway, and the consequence you get here is he catches you looking. And as he turns around, he sees your eyes maybe drifting on one of the gang affiliation tattoos, and he just raises an eyebrow and throws you a wink too as he goes in and tells Lo, just leave that door open. Anybody can come in here. And he sits down and crosses his long legs as the leather begins to strain against this newfound position. And he whips out this large Cortex deck, and it displays prominently VBC on the outside of it as he like unfolds it, flips it around to almost like a work tablet, and begins to plug it into the cube. And surprisingly seems very deft at what he's doing. His fingers are flying over the input device.
Do I know what VBC means? Aside from the my guess in chat.
He looks up. Do you ask him?
No, I'm asking you, Greg.
You can't tell. It just says V
Okay.
period B period C period.
If it was like a common thing, like, you know, there's some common abbreviations. Everybody just knows, like, oh, this is Apple Tech, whatever. I don't know.
No. This is everything about this deck. The doctor would probably be able to notice this is completely custom.
No.
It seems to be.
I'm not a tech person.
Yeah, that's Harriet's thought. Is she really wishes the doctor was here right now? She stares at the like notepad and she's like, "Yeah, I have no idea what's going on here." Buttons.
Okay, so what would the rest of you like to do, as this is apparently the person Badger sent to check out the cube? You do have a VIP en route, and of course the information you received about the Dauntless's pilot being somewhere, his father being somewhere in the vicinity.
Well, I send Elizabeth back to keep an eye out. Back. You're out in the cargo bay. If anyone comes, come get me.
Yeah, Felix is currently keeping an eye out because we've got potentially someone else turning up, and also, you know, it's not like I have anything else to do, considering apparently my husband is just fucking. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so.
You don't know. You can't.
You weren't there.
I'm probably with Felix as well, just kind of like waiting in a cargo hold, just waiting for someone to turn up. Got my pocket watch out.
Want to make out?
I mean, you're married.
Yeah, Felix is just keeping an eye out like a paranoid man. There's too much shit that's gone down in the last sort of month.
Right. So it'll be maybe about 45, 50 minutes later, and there's another boom, boom, boom on the front of the Courtesan as that hollow, tinny echo of the knock comes through the Courtesan's personnel door.
Felix will get the door.
Okay, this time as you open it up, almost as an exact opposite of
Oh, I knew it.
the man known as Bugger Jones, you see that there is a very impeccably dressed in a very fine Londinium suit, hair swept back, dark brown, a very handsome 30 to 40-year-old man, clean shaven, as he kind of casts not a disdainful eye around the exterior of the Courtesan, but a very wary eye. He's not measuring this thing for suitability. He's measuring it for dangers and violence. He doesn't seem scared. He just seems like, I'm not putting my foot into a bear trap type of situation. So, Doc, as the door is opened, you recognize this gentleman whenever you were in the core hospital group in the Rue de Oak. This was the man that was upset that his medicine wasn't there.
I see the man is kind of stunned there, just looking.
His eyes will fall on Felix. This is the Courtesan, correct?
This is indeed. My name is Felix Stonebridge. I'm the helmsman.
I
He holds out a
am.
hand.
He takes it. I am a friend of Badger.
Felix manages to smile and say, almost choked words there. I can appreciate
Yes.
how that might. Well, please come aboard.
He kind of uses the handshake to pull himself up the short ramp inside, and it lingers for a second as he kind of turns into you and says, Sebastian James Lorimer. And he releases and walks in, still kind of looking around.
Hello. How are you? I am Dr. Rutherford. Reginald Rutherford. Pleasure to meet you.
He looks at you. If you want him to recognize you, you can roll. You don't have to roll anything. If you would like to try to camouflage or deceive him into not being the same person that he saw before, you're going to need to roll me a social and a trick.
I'm so bad at those.
Well.
Is that because, it's not liquefying someone's brain with a pen and that's what you're good at?
Don't know what you're speaking about. That never happened. It was a fever dream.
If I ever have a fever dream, I'm keeping it to myself around you.
And trick, right?
Yep.
Okay. Can I use any of my distinctions in this, if you think? Maybe the bottom one.
Let me take a look.
If I notice that he's like noticing me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely fits.
I'm gonna use a plot point as well to keep a die.
Okay.
Come on, rolls. Nah. Actually, right.
You tie him because you spent a plot point to keep it. So ties always go to the PCs as he stares at you for a moment and does the stereotypical, do I know you? Have we met?
I don't believe so, no. I'm sorry, I probably have one of those faces. I'm gonna pull up my hand. But you know me now. Forget about that.
Sebastian James Lorimer. And he puts his hand out.
A pleasure. Indeed.
Can I assess this guy? Does he seem a couple of things? One, can I read his history on sort of, does he look like a military kind of man, being sort of the age to be old enough to have seen service? Also, does he look uncomfortable because he's unused to spacecraft?
That would require a roll to glean that particular information off of him. So if you want to roll a social or a mental and whatever skill you decide, it'll also use that 17.
Crap. Okay. So plus notice, and
Could I also see if I recognize the name or him? If he's a prominent person or anything like that.
Yeah, with your roll that you've already made, I'll go ahead and tell you that it appears that you definitely have heard the name Lorimar before, but you're not exactly sure where. It's a common name, not necessarily in your field of expertise, though, but there's something about the name that's right at the tip of your tongue, like you should know this, but it's almost like it's not medical, it's not tech, and you're kind of like in the process of going through those things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend a plot point to keep all three dice because that's the only way I stand a chance.
Ones.
Ouch. You wanted to learn if anything about him, about his appearance. He's very difficult to read. You're not getting anything from him, and his eyes narrow a bit at the scrutiny that you're kind of putting him under. He recognizes it, and that's going to create a complication. A D6 against you, and any roll that you make against him, I don't like the way you're looking at me. So
okay. Yeah.
That's
regaining sort of his composure and realizing that he's become quite guarded of late. Felix gives him a polite smile and says, from what I understood from our communications with Badger, you and the doctor had some business to speak of.
Yes. And he turns back to Dr. Rutherford. May I see your med bay, your medical facilities?
Oh, of course, you'll be pleasantly surprised and kind of maybe like seeing attention kind of spike up. I just kind of like go into my pocket, take out like a silver case. Cigar, real ones. I have the best.
Yes, yes, I'll take one. Thank you.
Of course. Very welcome. Please, this way. So, you're into medicine. Where do you study? What do you know? And I'm kind of like trying to like gain information and small talk as we're going.
I'm not into medicine. I just need to see your facilities and make sure that they are adequate.
For what, if I may ask? Being the ship doctor, I'd like to know.
For you to be able to fulfill this contract, Doctor.
Oh, okay. And what is the contract? As I'm walking him down, and what is his contract? I wasn't given much information.
Passage for a VIP. They need to be delivered to the core. He's looking around, and as soon as you guys kind of get to the med bay, his eyes go up a little bit as he realizes that there is a very, very state-of-the-art med bay that expands for 3 different panels, as we've described before. Luckily, he doesn't continue into the area that houses the pigs, but he nevertheless is very impressed by the med bay that he sees. All right. Have you ever had any experience with Ludlow disease? And you would know this, Doctor. It's a degenerative nerve condition.
Yes. And I would kind of put on like a concerned look. I do. It's a very savage, degenerate nerve disease.
My father has it, and as you know, there is no cure. I need to get him off of Persephone without anyone knowing. I need to deliver him to the moon of Alleluia in the core, so he can spend the rest of his days at the clinic there. I believe you can get him there, Doctor, if your med bay is any indication of your own prowess.
Oh, of course. There are many ways, but if I might ask, if he just has and not to put this lightly, a simple degenerative disease, wouldn't a faster and more state-of-the-art ship be able to take him there in a better capacity? Why do you need us?
Because you can get there without anybody knowing. My father is the head of Lorimar Reclamation. When he passes, it will cause quite a ripple through our stock. I need it to be quiet.
Do I know what this is?
Now, as soon as he says Lorimar Reclamation, you remember that this was the sort of like the refuse handler for all biological materials and unclaimed bodies, predominantly in the border worlds around the core. It's a huge corporation.
Oh my word. Such a degree. To what stage has this affliction affected your father?
The last.
Of course. Will I need to get anything procured before he arrives? Something that he may need? Any allergies, medication, something that I may need to appropriate just in case?
Do you have a core pad?
Well, of course I do.
He will pull out a small handheld device, touch 3 buttons, or 3 inputs on the outside, touch it to your core pad, and you have the medical history of one James Shaw Lorimar IV, who appears to be 93 years old and indicated of having in the final stages of Ludlow's disease. No allergies, nothing that you'd have to prepare for. It says that the medication, as you're looking at the different medications he's on, the son says, I can fulfill all the medications. I've gotten enough for several months.
Good. Would you be joining us in the journey?
Yes.
All right. We'll have to speak to the captain, get you properly situated.
You're not the captain.
No, I'm the ship's doctor.
I was led to... Very well. Let me talk to him, and I will be able to...
Her.
We'll see if we... Let me talk to her, and I will be able to hopefully reach an accord. I would like to leave as soon as possible.
Yes, she's currently in another meeting right now. I don't wish to disturb her. But as soon as she's free, we can tete-a-tete, as it were.
Which leads us to the perfect time to switch back up to the meeting that's going on between Bugger and the ladies. And as we get
That's my
back
new
up...
band name, Bugger the Ladies.
I love how Bai is a lady in this situation.
No, Bai, you went back up with them? I thought
Oh,
you
no,
were
wait.
staying down in the... Yeah, I didn't... You
Oh,
didn't
yeah, that's
follow
right,
him
that's
up.
right, that's right.
Yeah.
No,
I was at...
I would have been in my bunk.
I hate you so much.
Oh, that is so good. Flip that.
Okay, so as you're sitting there, Bugger is relaxing. His feet are kind of up on the cube as he's sitting there, and he's sitting there, has a pen in his mouth as he's kind of chewing it and looking around as his fingers are just flying over the outside of this jacked up core pad. And every once in a while he'll flip it around and you'll see like a picture of some type of like anime sunburst and, you know, like a dog running by, and he'll say, "Have you seen this one? This makes me laugh every time." And you can tell that he's surfing the Cortex. And he's just sitting there typing, not
Memes.
apparently doing anything. Right, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really understand shit about technology, so as far as Harriet's concerned, he's just continuing to do what he's supposed to be doing. Is there anything I can get you to assist in your process? I'm sorry, I'm not really... The doctor is usually the one who handles all the techie stuff. I'm more the... Well, you know... captain.
What do you do? And he puts the pad completely down and he crosses his legs and kind of sets him over on the edge of Lo Jiali's bunk. Because we're in Lo Jiali's room, correct? That's where the... And he kind of leans back against the wall. What do you do? You're the captain, right?
That is correct. Just recently, take jobs here and there when we can find them. Fly. Think I'm gonna own a nice little moon. So, oh wait, no, that's your job, isn't it? She looks over to Lojo. Someday I'll have a nice little moon where I can kick up my feet and, well, hopefully Bai will come around with some of those dumplings every now and again. But
Oh, those are good. Those are good.
but just
Hey, you
maybe-
guys should all head out to like New Vegas or something like that. You know? Wow, moons. You don't need moons. You need fun. You guys have a lot of it.
I can't remember the last time we had traditional fun.
It's all kinds of fun.
There is all kinds of fun.
So where do I sleep?
You're going to be staying with us.
Yeah. And he holds up his duffel bag and drops it to the ground. That's why I'm here.
I will have
There's
to have words with Badger.
I was gonna say, sweetie, there is a small fee for having people aboard my boat. Not that we mind having you here. I'm sure that it is just gonna be an adventure. But this
That's
was
baked
not...
into the cake, Captain. That's part of your fee for bringing this bad boy home. You get me.
Oh, and honey, I am just so delighted. Well,
And where are we delivering you and this object to, if you do not mind?
I'm just riding. I'll get off when the time comes.
Of course.
can you fight?
I don't like to.
Can you
I'm more
follow
of a
my
lover.
orders while you're aboard my boat?
Do I have to? Are they fun orders?
Sometimes they're not quite so fun, but sometimes they are hilarious, I assure you. You are more than welcome aboard here, as you are a friend of Badger's, and a Badger is a friend of ours. However, the only rule that takes place here is that at the end of the day, my word is law. Do we have an understanding?
I think we do.
Well,
You
all
are
right
the
then.
great and powerful Pharaoh. I will kneel in your general sun direction.
Harriet flexes, just kind of childishly. Let's get you a bunk and get you all set up. We'll give you the grand tour. We also have another guest that is going to be joining us. I'm not quite sure where we're going to be dropping them off. You can play nice, right? She says, kind of giving him an up and down.
Always.
I believe the room next to mine isn't occupied. And she'll kind of like, give a little wink.
I'll take that one.
Well, all right then, right this way. And I get him all set up in his bunk, and Harriet's going fuck, 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 fuck in her head. Fuck, 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 fuck.
It's okay. Xiaoli's doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah, but in a totally different way. Why don't I let Miss Lao Xiaoli give you a tour while I go and find out where the good doctor is and where our next guest is going to be coming from. I'm sure you two have a lot to talk about. And she just kind of finishes her drink and walks off.
I'm sure. Right this way.
As soon as Bugger gets into the room, these would be one of the sliding door guest rooms, right? That's where you are. You're not.
I'm in the nice sliding door
right.
guest rooms. Yeah.
So
that's all we have since we don't have,
shuttles, right?
The shuttles anymore.
Which we need to get more shuttles. If we could get some before we leave. That would Xiaoli would just be like,
it's funny. It's funny you should mention that. So we'll put a pin in that right now.
Okay.
As the door slides open, Bugger makes a show of taking off the thin silk scarf and hanging it up as one might a jacket, and then he runs and jumps on the bunk, and his legs are already crossed as he lands. Now I could do some relaxing here. Or I couldn't.
There's all types of recreation available aboard this ship.
I'm liking this place more and more. As the camera pulls back from Bugger and Lo Xiaoli, you're in your bunk.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Felix has left. He's had enough. And so we'll go back down to the dock, and as the dock has finished his conversation, is coming out, you kind of cross paths with Harriet as Harriet comes down, and the three of you are there. Sebastian, the dock, and Harriet.
My eyes look kindly upon this well-dressed gentleman after having to deal with our cowboy rock star there, and then she has the brief moment of, oh man, these two are not going to get along, and this is a small ship. Welcome aboard the Courtesan. How are you doing this fine day?
Captain, this is our guest.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. She says, looking at him, she thinks about shaking his hand, and then she kind of remembers, like, the few times she's seen the doctor, like, look at hands and be like, no, I'm not touching that, and kind of puts them in the same kind of category, because she knows she's not really up to their level of standards. Now, I understand we're supposed to come to some kind of accord. Make sure that you want to fly with this fine vessel.
Yes, and before we get talking about that, I'd like to let you all know that the bad boy sends his regards as everybody gets a plot point.
Hey.
I still have so many.
I will put everybody's on screen, and I will make note of yours, Tia, as they are too numerous to put on the screen.
Yeah. You have to write yours in scientific notation.
Right. Yeah, it's all like an equation at this point. So as he looks at you, he relates the same thing that he said to the doctor, that he needs VIP
He needs to
pass.
go to the core. He needs to go to the core.
Yeah. You will know that the moon that he speaks of, the moon of Alleluia, is a closed society. It is one of 3 in the verse that does not allow traffic, tourism, or any type of there's no embassies, there's no governmental positions on this moon. It is a complete system. Alleluia is a bit of a legend in that it was given to a particular family upon arrival in this universe for helping everyone get here from the Earth that was. It was just given to them. And the other rumor about the moon of Alleluia, it is the only planet or planetoid that has a legitimate Earth that was saltwater ocean. No other place in the world has it.
I sent you a little question there in the Zoom chat. Do you want me to put it in Twitter? Or?
You know this. So this is, you know, a little bit more than
Okay.
everybody else does about this. This is what Harriet knows. That's why I didn't tell anything to the doctor whenever he heard Alleluia. So Alleluia is probably the most closed, enigmatic society in the verse. It's also supposedly houses a clinic for the very wealthy, and that's how it makes its money.
Well, I ain't never heard of such a place, but I'll be happy to take you there.
Very well, then I believe we can reach an accord.
There is just one slight little thing. We have taken aboard a new guest, and it will not take any time out of your journey. We won't have to drop off anywhere. In fact, it's quite on the way. He's just... Well, how do I say? I imagine that he will bring a little bit more life to the ship. She says with a strained smile.
Is he a performer or...
I'm thinking that he's some kind of rock star, but, you know, I don't mind when people need to get from one end of the verse to the other, and they do it on my boat. I've already talked with him. He is said that he is more than happy to make your acquaintance, and he is going to be a perfect gentleman aboard the entire ship. Now, how much of that is true, I can only imagine, because rock stars say things and do other things, but he looks pretty harmless. I just thought I would give you the heads up because I know that we are supposed to be open and honest with each other, and I didn't want you to have any surprises aboard the ship. Oh, and there are some pigs. Will that be a problem?
Like the animal?
Like actual physical animal, oink oink with the tail and everything.
I don't believe so, no.
Well, all right then. Welcome aboard the Courtesan.
I have stipulations.
And those would be?
You must sign a confidentiality agreement that you will not mention my presence or my father's presence or where you have taken us for 48 months.
All right then.
If
That seems completely reasonable.
I hope it does, as I continue. If it is broken, under Allied law, we will seize your ship.
I don't think that... Well, we're used to keeping our mouths shut, so I really don't think it's going to be a problem, honey.
You can see him visibly relax. Good. If you keep up your end of the bargain, in 49 months, 20 times your fee will be deposited into an account of your naming.
Well, that sounds fantastic. You can make that out to Miss Harriet Dawson.
It'll be made out to the owners of this ship in proportions equal to whatever it is. You guys would know that 20 times your normal fee, that's a farm for buy. That is retirement for whoever would like it. That is a tremendous amount of money.
It's not enough to retire on.
If you don't have Lojali's expenses, then or lifestyle, it is enough to retire on.
Is it at all possible, perhaps, that because we do have one additional member of a non-crew, would you like to take on perhaps an alias while you are with us, so you feel perhaps more comfortable?
I don't believe that type of subterfuge will be necessary. I just need to get my father here. We will be coming in tonight.
We will have everything prepared for you. Just let us know what you need.
The doctor knows he has my father's file. I'll take a bed in the med bay if that's okay, doctor, and then as fast as you can get us to Alleluia.
I was going to say, how long is it going to take the journey straight there? We burn hard.
Well, if you burn straight from where you are, it's going to be about 2 weeks. However, in the file and the additional information that was given to the doctor, they are requesting a non-trade route. So that's going to jack it up to around 3.5, 4 weeks to get where you need to be.
All right, so don't want to travel the back roads.
I say to the guy, You can certainly have a seat in one of our other accommodations. It'd just be best if this room was left spacious between me and the patient for all manner of services, hygiene, active duty, and I wouldn't want to, not to be rude, but have you get in the way of anything that may arise. Being full, able to have my full capacity in my workspace is of the utmost importance in this kind of med facility.
I can speak for the doctor. He is the sweetest, kindest, most capable, and that is why he is on this ship, is because he is damn good at what he does. Ain't nothing that the doc can't fix or make
I can
right.
see that. I can see that. Yes, I will, as long as I can have someplace close.
There are intercoms as well. You can talk to if need be.
My father's in and out of lucidness, and I'm the only person he still remembers, so...
We will do everything to make him feel at home and welcome, and you can go in and visit him anytime you like, unless the doctor is in the middle of something dire. This ship is your home now. The only place that you will not need permission to, that you will need permission to go is, of course, oh my god, why am I forgetting the words?
The cockpit.
Thank you.
I will
Rain.
stay wherever you need me to be.
Well, all right then. I look forward to seeing you tonight, and you'll get to meet the rest of the crew, and I'm sure they will be very happy to meet you.
As he's leaving, he kind of glances around once more, confident that he's not stepping into a bear trap, but still has that kind of skittish look about him as his eyes go up, and there on the railing of the upper cargo bay, Elizabeth is sitting, her legs through the railing, kicking, and you see his face relax even further as he realizes that there's a child on this boat. And you see him turn, and he offers a smile for the first time to those of you that are there. This will work.
Elizabeth. She is just the ray of sunshine on this ship. Huh, honey? Being a good girl?
Yes.
All right. We got some new
And-
friends that are going to be aboard the ship.
She just kind of claps.
I smile back to the gentleman as he's making his way out to show that we're all amicable friends. We're definitely not people that go and shoot things and, each other sometimes.
He nods, looks around, and until tonight. And he goes out and exits through the personnel door. And
Elizabeth, honey, can you come here for just a second?
she pads down, and you realize that she's not wearing any shoes. She's just running barefoot through the cargo bay.
Hi, sweetie. How you doing? I got a big favor to ask you. Remember that time when you drove the car?
Yes.
Do you think that you could keep that just between us for the next little while?
Yes.
You are such a good girl. I swear, I'm gonna teach you how to shoot someday.
But the others saw me do it.
Oh, don't worry. They ain't gonna tell nobody neither.
Zhao Li probably already was like, let's just not talk about that.
Here's
Felix-
some dumplings.
Yeah, Felix will have sat down at some point and have managed to probably would have gone off and got her some candy or something and sat down with her and just told her how proud he was and that she did a really good job, in a kind of not the most sort of loving of ways, but just let her know that she did very, very well.
I can almost see that because, it's like over an ice planet in the cargo bay. They're sitting there eating ice planets as Felix is, well, it's all right. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, she remembers that as Elizabeth ingratiates herself more with the crew. What we'll say is Bugger is apparently waiting for something to happen with the cube as his deck, the VBC, is sitting there doing some type of test to it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Will I have been told that he because I wasn't there, so
I was just on my way up to the cockpit, actually, because you and I need to have a talk about this.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be making my way up there.
Okay. Felix sort of made his way up to the cockpit and will be he'll be garrising. He'll be doing some calibrations in this.
Have I told you that you are the finest pilot in this universe?
Never without it being followed by you asking me for something that I don't want to give you.
Well, see, the thing with that is, well, you got me. You got me. She kind of kicks one of the chairs.
Damn it!
Yeah. And she puts her hands in her pockets and she looks out the front for a second and turns to you. We gotta go to the core, honey. We gotta go to the core with a rock star and a doctor and an elderly man. And we gotta do it in the sneakiest fashion possible. I mean, the most obscure, untraceable, unfollowable, nothing. Nobody's gonna find us. You think you can manage that? You notice that Harriet is actually heavily breathing as if she's almost getting ready to go into combat. She's not herself.
I was aware that we were transporting one individual.
Yeah, oh, that's another pin in the cushion. See, we have a... She looks down at the ground. We have a friend of Badger's here, and, now, I know that things with you and Bai have been a little tentative lately, and I want you to know that if you two cause any more ruckus aboard my Goram ship while these two people are here, I'm gonna lose my mind.
You're talking about that Shayu Tao and Degaoshi.
Sweetie, here's the thing. If you get this job, we get 20 times our normal pay. We can retire. You can take Bai to whatever moon full of dumplings and anything you want. You can get them flowers every day. You get them different flowers every day. You two could have the sweetest honeymoon you wanted, but we got to get this job done. Can you get us from here to there without being seen?
What changed?
I have no Goram idea. It's my ship, and I have no idea what's going on anymore.
What?
She kicks the chair again.
Felix puts a hand firmly on Harriet's shoulder, and he's going to lean past her and close the cockpit door. So it's just the two of them. Why is Badger... In fact, I'll go over to the console where there's like a essentially just like a metal cup. It's like a Maglox level cup that can just sit on the cockpit. So through turbulence and stuff, I can have my damn coffee. But I'll come over, like sniff it, see that it's empty, and hold it out for some whiskey.
I got you.
Yeah. And Felix he'll go over to the door and check, and looks through sort of the porthole just to make sure that his husband isn't coming to discover him drinking heavily, because he's had a fucking rough couple of weeks.
See, Felix, you and I, sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but on the most part, we do. You are a damn fine pilot. This job means a lot to me, personally, getting in and out unseen.
We can do the whole pleasantries another time. It's long overdue, but we can carve out some time in that busy schedule as we spend the next 3-4 weeks ghosting through the back lanes. I'm going to have to find some pretty creative navigation maneuvers to make sure that we can make this on one jump without needing to stop anywhere and refuel, making sure that it's doable. My point is, why are we taking on another person?
I got a funny feeling about that one, and honestly, I just want to see what the fuck he is up to and what Badger is doing. Honestly, he seems pretty harmless. He's just a little bit of a rock star. His pants are a bit too tight for my liking, but at the same time, he does have spurs.
What was he doing last time you saw him?
Him and Miss Lao Zhao Li were getting better acquainted.
Did he have the cube with him?
Of course, he had the cube with him.
I would like to go over to the comms console and see if I can check. Are we broadcasting anything at the moment? And by we, I mean, is anything being broadcast off this ship at the moment? He has a "My Master is Mr. Universe Now" tattoo. Mr. Universe is notorious for this sort of shit. He has a very complicated thingy jock custom piece of hardware, and that is some very, very, very high classified shit he is currently using and has access to. Is he broadcasting this shit off that ship right now?
He was connected to the Cortex. I mean, he'd have a signal of some kind,
Yep.
but that would be totally normal.
I'd
Yep.
love to tell you you don't have to roll for this, but I'm going to need you to roll for this. As
Oh.
Okay. Can I get an operate?
yeah.
Okay.
You can also use the your asset as the courtesan because she can help you here.
Sweet. And I think that would be everything. Just be those. Can I'm gonna spend a plot point
Okay.
to I'm gonna spend a plot point to keep these in, all of these in. What am I trying to roll? Is it 10 or 13?
He rolled a 10.
Okay. 12.
Okay, so as it takes you a second, and you realize that there seems to be a large burst that's filled with just all kinds of like,
Chaff.
yeah, memes and just all videos, and it's just like he's
Always
you know
memes.
just kind
It's
of
like pirate
Have
radio.
you seen
is-
this one?
right. It's just like it's choked with all this stuff, but they're kind of underneath all of that stuff that the courtesan herself points out to you. There is a blast packet being collected as you can only guess the cube is being downloaded and preparing for transmission. It doesn't look like it's gone out yet, but it's almost like it's queuing up. There are tendrils going somewhere, but you have no clue where.
Do we have any previous contact with Mr. Universe?
He's a myth.
Okay, so yeah, it's just as far as Harriet's concerned, it's just some fucking legend tattooed on his stomach. She doesn't give a damn, and she doesn't know. I don't know what you're doing. So are you gonna explain what you're doing?
Greg, given
Yes.
certain things, would I know there's some grounds to that myth?
There are unexplained things that pilots and people that have to deal with like
Yep.
flight plans and flight information would know, because they are the ones that closely deal with the cortex, other than, you know, proprietors in the core. But out here in the border and the rim, the pilots are the ones that are most integral to the cortex because they use it for everything from navigation to life support to getting things in and out of the computer, and they're right there by it, you know, when they fly. There have been anomalies that have been associated to Mr. Universe. You know, when somebody, a famous government official, has a sex tape released that they didn't want released right before an election, that has been attributed to Mr. Universe. There have been several times when the Londinium stock market has been, let's just say, rewired to show certain stocks are going through the roof while core properties are tanking. things like that have been associated to Mr. Universe. Nothing big time, kind of like prankish type of things. Nothing earth-shattering, or, you know, he hasn't turned off like Atmo processors or anything like that.
Right.
Everything has been benign. He's like a leprechaun. If he is in fact a he.
I bring Harriet over to the console, and I point to what is essentially just like a jumble of like signal codes and everything like that. And then every now and again, an ident comes up. The ident is like highlighted, but it's a different one each time. And I point and say, he is currently piggybacking off of preparing to piggyback off of our comms.
And what does that mean, honey?
What it means
you gotta
is
say that in Harriet.
Okay. He doesn't have such a good throwing arm, the Courtesan does, and he's got a message in a bottle that he's trying to hurl somewhere.
I imagine that's probably something to do with the cube.
My point is, why is he doing it on our ship? And
Because
why is he now
is
traveling
on
with
our
us?
ship? He's doing it because he's on our ship, I imagine. He's traveling with us because Badger said so. And Badger's the one giving us the money right now. And that money keeps your, I slam on the cockpit, ship in the air.
There's also the fact that this ship is particularly valued because he points to, again, where it's sort of like another ping
Is this
comes
going
up.
to cause an issue with us being found on the way to the core, yes or no?
It depends on how long he continues to broadcast from, but the other thing that I'm curious about is who he's broadcasting it to, specifically the tattoo on his chest.
You ever heard of this thing called It's None of Your Damn Business? We have
You
a lot
haven't
of
heard
stock
this?
in that.
Okay. There are two tattoos that were relevant. One, the myth of Mr. Legend. No, the myth of Mr. Universe.
Who is Mr. Universe? Is that like a new pageant on
Mr.
Persephone?
Universe. Mr. Universe is Mr. Universe is that one tattletale that was in class that you never caught, that always used to know everything and used to write secrets on the bathroom stall walls. And
All right.
no one knows if he is really one person, if he is a he or a she or an organization, but if there's a secret to be known, chances are Mr. Universe can find it and broadcast it. He has a habit of outing nasty secrets, including, for example, something that might be happening in Anderson Prison. And those sorts of secrets paint a mighty big target on his back, as well as anyone else involved. It's name number 2 before you even respond. You saw the tattoo. You know what it means. Who he potentially works for currently.
Which could give us, honestly, kind of a leg up in the rest of the world, honey. I don't know if you've noticed, but every planet we land down on has not been very amicable from the start. Having a man like him and a woman like Miss Lao Jiaoli gives us a certain credibility. Now, not the kind of credibility that you can go walking around the core with, for sure, but as long as he stops that signal, he stays. I want to keep things nice and friendly between me and Badger, so that every time we come around to this planet, we got to pick up flour for your husband. Now, we don't have any problems. Go, Ma?
Felix next the rest of his whiskey and
Attaboy, she. I'm gonna go have a talk with Mr. Universe and make sure that he understands everything is on the level. He looks like the kind of guy who's used to flying under the radar. I'm sure it won't be a problem. Fuck, he works for Badger after all.
You're absolutely right. He just blends in.
You ever heard of hiding out in the open? She says, trying to. She knows that she doesn't have a leg to stand on with that one,
Yeah.
as literally the sound or the sound of the floor is heard everywhere he walks.
Yeah.
Oh, remember? You know what? Story for another day. Why don't we all get dinner ready and get ready for our guests and go find out what the rest of the crew's up to? Or are you gonna hide up here? I think your husband's in his bunk. He's been in there for a while. You might want to check on him, see if he's all right.
You note, like, there's, like, he looks over his shoulder, and the pilot's chair, there's a pillow, and there's a blanket and stuff. There have been a few nights where he hasn't slept in his own bunk, and he will.
Oh, I am sure I know all about it.
Oh, believe me, if you've heard from Bai. Like, Felix doesn't air his dirty laundry.
I just imagine Bai screaming at you in your bunk, and the sound just kind of like going around and like camera panning to different room, and everybody's
And
like eating and like.
Felix just comes up, nods to the crew, walks down the corridor to the cockpit, like, I'm done for tonight.
Okay.
And that's the perfect place to segue to the hallway. Where is Bai right now?
I think Bai would probably be just kind of relaxing and tending to his flock. Is that
His
what you
pigs.
pack?
Why? Is that what the kids
Oinkers.
are calling it
Pack of
nowadays?
pigs?
What do you call a family of pigs? But them, my children,
Curlies?
herd.
I don't know.
my
A
beautiful,
horde.
my sweet,
A horde.
my beautiful, a horde. Yeah, my beautiful, sweet baby boys.
So you would have a sounder of swine.
A sounder. Yep, I have a sounder.
Okay, so
A sounder of show-worthy swine.
Ah, okay.
Get it? Because we're
Okay.
on a show.
A drift,
Gotcha.
a drove, or a litter.
Litter.
Well, that's for baby pigs.
Well, there's certainly
They are my babies.
there's certainly a swine in that pen at the moment.
Oh!
Damn.
Okay, so as you're looking at your flock, you will hear behind you, clink, 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 and from the doorway of the room that's been appropriated by the pigs now, Bugger Jones is leaning, his scarf returned, but no longer wrapped around the neck as it's just draped over his shoulders, and he looks and says, "So you have pigs?"
Ugh. By the pricking of my thumbs. Yes.
Does that make me
He's the-
wicked?
Well, I guess only as much as having pigs makes one dirty.
Really? He comes in and kneels down beside you and grabs one of the pigs very lovingly and begins to kind of tussle around the ear the way that pigs like.
Hustler.
And and when you realize that, because Hustler has that one ear that was kind of wounded in the first fight, he avoids that ear and works on the good one as Hustler kind of turns into it a bit. And he kind of looks over, and through the star tattoo on the side of his eye and above the line of hair of his beard, he looks over and says, "I've been dirty in my time." And that's where we're going to end today's episode of the Big Damn Verse, as this is part 1 of Bedside Manor. And we will see what happens in part 2 next week with the arrival of both Sebastian Lorimer, his father, and Bugger Jones. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and potentially the bad boy. I'll be talking to him soon to see exactly how that goes down.
I can finally kill Grant. I mean, I can't wait to have you on this show.
So we will see exactly how that goes down. And but before we go anywhere, I want to go to this wonderful cast and crew I love so much. As I drop it right down to Mr. Eric, how did you like today's episode, my friend?
I'm kind of stunned for a moment because, like, good Bedside Manor is literally, I'm saying in chat right now, is the best name for this episode.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's like 4 metaphors deep. Like, how good that ties in everything. That is incredible. That's really, really good. And speaking of really good stuff, I do commissions and everything. Hey, everybody, I'm Eric Vulgaris. Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Eric Vulgaris, streamer, game designer, graphic artist. I do D&D graphic stuff for your streams. That's what I do a lot. If you want information and everything like that, you can see what if you want to see an example, that's what you're watching right now. I made the overlays for this show. I made overlays for a lot of Grimjack shows here. So that's something I do. I do a couple overlays for some other people. You can play my game Knights in Their Lances. It's free. It's on the 200-word RPG. It's a game about basically, you guys, watch A Knight's Tale?
Oh, yes.
Adamar wants Heath Ledger's character, right? Like real bad, like real thirsty. It's not. He doesn't want the lady. He wants I made a game about that. All right.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's entirely a game about describing as hilariously and innuendoly as possible each other taking each other's lances.
I want in on this immediately.
Yep. So that's what I did. Yeah. And anyways, and between that and stuff, I'm in a couple games. I'm in a Zweihander game here with Provo Starter. I love Firefly for my Fridays. Saturdays my Once Upon a Game. So I run games or have people in my community run games, one shots. Come here. It's just try something brand new. I'm a games peddler. I've played over 100 different systems. I love them all. They all have something to bring. One shots, no pressure. Just show up. All the games require no prep. That's like the big stress that I have for my games. Just show up, play for 3 hours, and be done. That's me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ancient Moose, yeah, I updated. It should be updated on the thing here, reflecting a 7-6 start for Conan. If it's not, I must have. Yeah, it's on there. It's second down, Friday, 12-2. Sorry, I mentioned it yesterday on Nerdarchy, and I put it out yesterday. I didn't put anything live because I didn't want to go live and make people think it was on today. So yes, Conan starts next Friday at 12 o'clock. Thank you very much, Eric. Tia, what did you think today?
Harriet's screwed, and Harriet realizes that she's screwed, and she's realizing she's getting screwed from all ends from everybody, but it's her ship, and everybody's gonna play nice and get along, and we're gonna get this done nice and quiet, and we're gonna have a whole bunch of money, and everything's gonna go smooth, because things always go smooth. I had fun. I'm terrified for next week. Absolutely terrified. Mostly of Bai and Felix, because, yeah, marital discourse. That's fun.
It'll be fine. Oh, wait, my husband's just a scumbag.
Mr. Crime Pants.
Mr. Crime Pants. Yeah, you go shoot people. He flirts with people. Which one is worse?
You brought a gun to our anniversary.
You!
Okay, I'm Laura Lanya, and you can find me on Twitter. I loved the show. I had a great time. I love this cast so much because everybody is so amazing at getting into their characters. And I so wish that you guys could see our group chat, but it's probably a blessing that you don't sometimes, because we say some things and it's pretty funny. Yeah, no, you guys are like, no, not us. We're totally, and there's a lot of shit talk that is done behind the scenes, and I couldn't find anyone I'd rather fly through the verse with and have captain this crew here. Grimjack, you are amazing. I love role playing with you. You're just the greatest.
Thank you so much. Lindy, Lo Jiao Li.
Huh?
What up?
Hi, Greg. I'm doing great. That was an awesome episode. I really enjoyed it. I see things getting really interesting next week. Zhao Li's mind is going 100 miles a minute right now. She is plotting and preparing and making like plans A through K of what she could or is going to do. This is real interesting. She was not expecting this. She's not as concerned about the two colliding as our good dear captain is, because Badger arranged both of these things, and he has come off as a competent individual from my previous knowledge of him, but we will see how things go. She's more worried about this Mr. Man that is hacking the cube right now. We'll find out what happens next week with that. It's gonna be great. And spend some time with Elizabeth and read this pad that I have, and it's gonna be awesome. But you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on the Twitches and the Twitter. I do a lot of stuff. I'm in 13 games currently. All sorts of things from Call of Cthulhu to D&D to Firefly, like today, and what else am I? Star Wars RPG. You can find. I'm planning on actually starting making a weekly schedule on my Twitter so people can see this stuff. I just haven't had the time, but it's gonna be great. You can check to see Twitter when I'm going live and stuff, and it's gonna be awesome. And I play a lot because I'm an addict.
No truer words have ever been spoken. And we couldn't all be happier that all of these lovely individuals are addicted to role-playing games, and we get to experience their personalities every day, because I know personally it makes me feel a ton better to see their beautiful faces. Speaking of beautiful faces, Josh, how are you doing, buddy?
Oh. See, someone knows how to appreciate me. Stares at Eric, glares for days. Yeah, no, it's an absolute blast to get to play here on Fridays with such a phenomenal crew. And I am equally super nervous about what is going to happen next week with the chaos and calamity that could befall us with this interesting group that we've picked up. Oh, poor Elizabeth, man. Poor Elizabeth. She's who I'm truly. Yeah,
she's learning a ton.
Yeah, it worries me. But as far as me, you can find me on Twitter at EncounterJosh. You can find me on Tuesdays on the Greyhawk channel with Lindsay on running the Long March on Encounter Roleplay, and then straight after that on Colwell Press's phenomenal Midgard The World Tree Burns campaign, hosted and run by Dan Dillon himself, who helped write the campaign for Cobalt Press, which is amazing, and various other things throughout the week that you can find out on my Twitter. Other than that, if you want to see me suffer, check out 10 Cloaks Pod, and I'll see you out there in the black.
Nice. And as it was mentioned that the title of this episode is Bedside Manners, Doctor, it's only fitting that we end with you. Pro, how are you doing today, bud?
They're doing great, as always. Loved playing with everyone. Super fun. Loved learning about, the great, innocent, pure-hearted angel doctor. He's just a peach to everyone. You're awesome, as always. Great with just your positioning, the way that you just explain things and draw us in and give the immersion, the way you run the games. It's amazing. So thank you, as always, for having me. Love playing with you. I am Pro Restarter. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, all at that name. You can catch me here on Fridays playing these lovely people. Also tonight and every other Friday at 1 a.m. BST, playing on off_the_table, some Monster Hearts, where I play an emo teen vampire boy. That is my stand, my brand. That is who I am. You can keep me on Mondays, playing on the Greyhawk channel, playing an emo ASMR sad boy. On Tuesdays on Wooden DM's channel, playing an emo sad alien Jedi. And on Wednesdays on Wooden DM's channel, playing a very surly gnome Judge Dredd Reeve. So that's pretty fun. I play a lot of stuff with a lot of good people. That's me. Thank you.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. They're detecting a theme in chat, and I think they might be onto something. It was subtle, but I too saw a thread. As for me, I couldn't be happier to play with these people. It is an absolute dream to have a cast that loves Firefly and is willing to jump into the black with me every week and have me put their characters through confusion and hell, and some of them even asked to be shot. And that's why Eric is just baller, people. You spend a plot point to ask to be shot where I can seriously screw up or drop in drama in a relationship on the boat. Thank you, my friend. You make it all worth living. And anyway, for me, Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitter. Here on the channel, starting next Friday, Conan from 12 to 2, Firefly from 2 to 4. Next Saturday, I have Project Kronos, Pulp Cthulhu from 2 to 4, and then Project Athena on Sundays from 7 to 9. But tomorrow, I have something special going on, as I'm going to be over on Unmade Gaming for some charity, going 1 to 4 with Ozzy, who was in chat a little bit ago. I saw him.
Mike.
Yep, he's going to... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lindy's in there with me too. We're going to be playing dogs. We're going to be playing Pugmire, and we're going on quests with dogs and stuff. And I can't wait.
Fucking
And then as we get done that, tomorrow night over on the Greyhawk channel, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern, for some late night D&D revelry in the darkest, dirtiest of order, I begin Valley of Soot and Skull. They are 15th level characters starting off. It is epic, and it is the deadliest thing I've ever run in D&D. And it's tough to be deadly in D&D, but I'm really trying. And I hope everybody comes over to the Greyhawk channel and checks it out. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. Check us out as dogs tomorrow. Check us out next Friday at Conan. Everyone's wearing loincloths. Check us up next Friday on Firefly. We're all wearing tight leather pants with big-ass pugilist belt buckles and spurs. Because that's what we
is
do
this
here.
in real life or is this in game?
I'm already
I want
have my
this to be
spurs
in
on.
real life. Okay.
All right. So anyway, everybody take care in your universe. Come back and visit us next week in our universe. Until then, thanks to everybody in chat that donated, everybody that cheered. Bad boy Grant, we'll be talking soon, brother. Until next week, y'all. Have fun.